Hi guys, I'm photographing water birds and I'm on a tidal estuary in Essex, and so far I've got some really nice little egret shots, and they're like a small wading bird, and they walk around in the shallows and they're looking for sort of small fish, crustaceans, crabs, stuff like that. And it's really good. I've got some video footage and I've got some nice stills so far, and this is a tidal estuary, so as the tide comes in and out it pushes the birds either closer or further away. Tide's on the way out now, so I'm probably going to pack up here for this morning, but it's been really good. I've got my 600mm lens with a 1.4 converter, because even though the egrets are pretty okay with people here, actually they see a lot of people walking past, I still want to keep my distance, but I don't need to use camouflage or anything, so that's quite nice. Yeah, it's all good. I've got soft directional sunlight. It's not really bright, but it's quite nice, and it was a little bit brighter earlier. We've just had a little bit of cloud come in, so it's been a really good morning. And actually on the way here I've got a nice landscape shot as well, because as I was coming down the hill there's all this mist in amongst the trees, and I've used my 200 to 500 zoom to sort of actually come in close and isolate the trees in the mist, and that was really nice. So that's sort of a bonus. You never know when you're out being a photographer what's going to happen, and although I've got a plan, I'm doing the waders today, that doesn't mean you can't stop, does it, and do something else if the opportunity sort of arises. So it's been a cracking morning so far. I'm really pleased. I'm shooting on 1,000th of a second at the moment, or maybe 500, but between 500th and 1,000th of a second, so that I freeze any motion as the birds are walking around, and also I avoid sort of getting too much camera shake. I've also got the lens on a bean bag, so that gives me a bit more stability. Bit uncomfortable laying down for too long, you know, makes the neck hurt and stuff, but the key thing is, again, just like I've said in so many of my videos, you've got to get to level with your subject. So if my subject's quite low, then I want to be low as well, so it's really good. And I think that little egret's coming back in again, so I'm going to start shooting again, and I'll say bye for now, and I'll speak to you soon, guys. Right, hi guys. I've moved down onto the mud flats. I'm on a tidal estuary, as I said this morning, and I've moved down onto the mud flats because I'm photographing dark-bellied Brent geese at the moment, and they're great, the Brent geese. They fly in every autumn from Siberia. So what they do is they fly in from Siberia, and then they come onto these mud flats because there's something called eelgrass, which is a really high protein grass, and they feed up on the eelgrass, and then after that they disperse around the coast. So autumn is a really good time to photograph these geese because they all come in en masse, like thousands and thousands and thousands. And this is really good because I've got lots of geese flying in and out, so there's lots of opportunities for flight shots. Now the tide's out at the moment. It's been going out since the beginning of this morning, which means the geese are quite a way away, but that's okay because I've got my 600mm lens with a 1.4 converter, so that gives me a really long reach. So I'm getting some very nice shots of the Brent geese feeding. I've got some great flight shots, and the thing is, you don't always have to have a totally frame-filling picture of an animal. Sometimes showing the animal in its environment with a little bit of the landscape around it is a really good thing. So when I've got some of the flight shots, I've got the geese flying in with geese underneath them flying. Excuse the noise in the background, it's there's a bunch of dogs there barking like mad, creating a right racket, but I'm not going to let that distract me. Yeah, so this is really good. In the autumn, these geese flying from Siberia, they come onto these mud flats, they feed up with this eelgrass, and they disperse around the county. And I'm in Essex, and I'm on the mud banks or the mud flats of the Thames. So this is a really good time of the year. I'm using a nice fast shutter speed because I've got lots of flight shots coming in, about 1,000th of a second, 1,250th of a second. I'm using continuous focusing, and I'm using a set of 5 group points or 5 AF points, so that when I'm doing the flight shots, I can focus quickly on these fast moving birds as they come in. The light's popping in and out, so sometimes I'm getting some strong directional sunlight, sometimes the light's a bit softer. And on some of the pictures, because these geese are quite dark, I'm overexposing a bit to create almost like a high key image to get some more detail in those dark feathers. And even if that makes the background overexposed, I don't care. And in actual fact, it gives quite a nice feel to the picture. So some of them I'm making sure I correctly expose, some of them I'm overexposing a little bit on purpose. And the sun's just popping out again now, which is great. So far this morning, I photographed little egrets a couple of times because they feed in the same sort of place. They feed on different stuff, obviously. The Brent geese are feeding on the eelgrasses, and the little egrets are feeding on sort of crabs and fish, small fish and stuff like that. So they don't sort of get in each other's way, so they can quite happily feed in the same areas. So this is great, and also I don't have to lay down, which is great because I don't really want to lay down on the mud, even though I've got my sort of mat with me, because the other side of this bank is higher than where I'm sitting at the moment actually. So by sitting down and using my gimbal head, and I've got a little sort of collapsible seat, I can be again at eye level with the animals, so it's quite comfortable. I can sit on my little seat, I don't have to lay down, but I'm still at eye level with my subject, which always looks better, as I've mentioned loads and loads of times before. So look, I'm going to wait here and shoot these geese for the rest of the day, I think, actually, because what will happen is, as I say, later on the tide's going to turn and it's going to start coming in, and that will press those geese a little bit closer to me. And look, the thing is, I've got planes going overhead, there's a railway line over there, and you get the occasional train come through. You've got dog walkers all over the place, and these dogs are making a right racket, but it's not affecting the geese at all. So I just have to sort of close all that mayhem out and just concentrate on what I'm going to do. And I'm concentrating on photographing these geese, and it's fantastic. So yeah, I will speak to you soon, and I've got some more flying in now. So speak to you soon, guys. That's great, a whole stack of them are probably about, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 Brent geese come flying past. So it's happening all the time, they're up and down all the time. The only thing I've got to watch is I don't pan round and get the sun in my viewfinder, because that would be bad for my eyes. So as I pan, I'm keeping a very good eye on where the sun is, so that as I swing round I don't sort of pan into the sun and potentially damage my eyes because I'm using a long lens. So yeah, apart from that, it's all good. Yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Morning all, so had a fantastic time on the Essex mudflats, photographing water birds. Excuse me. So I started the morning with photographing little egrets, then spent most of the day photographing Brent geese, and then I finished the day photographing mainly little egrets but a few Brent geese. And I timed my visit to coincide with a sunset and a high tide. And it's really important sometimes when you're working in these coastal sort of estuaries to get your tide times right, because I wanted the high tide to eventually push the seabirds or the water birds closer to me, and that's what happened. But I also wanted that really nice golden light, so I wanted there to be a high tide around about sunset, and that's what happened. And in the pictures and the video footage after this little piece to camera, that's what I had, and I've got some absolutely beautiful, I think, video footage of the little egrets with this warm sunlight, golden red sunlight on the water and on the birds, and it was just superb. So and I've got some lovely still shots as well. So all in all, the day was absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed it all day because the light was pretty good all day because it's autumn and the sun's reasonably low in the sky. But my favourite pictures were definitely at the end of the day when I had that lovely warm light. And also I got a really nice misty morning shot on the way to the location I was shooting at, you know, more of a landscape shot. So that morning light and that afternoon light was fantastic, but the stuff in between was okay as well. So yeah, my advice is if you're going to be shooting on the coast, either, you know, right on the coast on a beach or on a tidal estuary, it's really important to time your visit and get the tide times right for when you want to be there and what you want to achieve. And that's about it now. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. I know this has been a slightly longer video, so all I would say is the stuff coming at the end of this video now is my favourite bit of the day. So that lovely golden light, the stills in the video footage is my favourite. So I hope sort of I've not bored you all by now and you hang on to see the last bit, because I think it's the best bit of this vlog. So that's about it, yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you on my next video. Bye for now, guys.